Welcome to the final days. Today is September 5th, 2019. Today we will be viewing a celestial object in a stable orbit around Earth, dramatic changes in our moon, and different celestial objects near Earth, none of which is mentioned on mainstream news. Today you will see more meteorites dropping in the far north as a result of our close proximity to the planetary system, which has now intermingled with our solar system. These celestial objects are causing tectonic plate disturbances, increased volcanic activity, strange weather, and many other problems described in the Bible's accounts of the last days. The purpose of this channel is to show the viewers that we are living in the very last days according to the Holy Bible, and to explain why this is actually good news and cause for celebration, explained later in this video. All of the photos you are about to see were obtained within the past few days from the Federal Aviation Weather cameras in Alaska and Canada. No editing was done except where clearly stated. Viewers have my full permission to redisplay any parts of any of my videos without worrying about copyrights. Let's get the truth out there. The video you are watching was captured by the south-facing weather camera located in Sitka, Alaska. Now, you must have an IQ of at least 70 to understand why this cannot possibly be a lens flare of the sun. 1. Lens flares do not rotate. This object has an obvious rotation, best seen in the images with contrast added. Our sun only rotates once every 27 Earth days. 2. In some of these images, the clouds are in front of the celestial object. Clouds can never be in front of a camera-produced lens flare. And 3. The rotating orbs have obvious craters. Lens flares of the sun don't have craters. Please remember these things as we view the celestial objects throughout these videos. I'd like to share a dream that God gave me 2 days ago as a warning of how soon things will start happening. The dream began with someone asking me how much weight I had lost. I said 21.5 pounds. Well, in reality, I had lost 20 pounds at the time of the dream. That number will be 21.5, possibly near the end of this month, September. The next thing that happened in the dream is that I witnessed lots of damage to city buildings and infrastructure. The cause of the damage was not revealed to me. It could have been from an earthquake, a bomb, or other means that could damage city infrastructure. It was not made known to me if this damage was isolated to one city, one state, or if it was across the nation. The purpose of this dream was to warn of damage coming soon. Earlier this year, the U.S. government warned all citizens to have 6 months' worth of food and water on hand, and I don't know anybody who paid any attention to that warning. On February 13th of this year, God gave me another warning dream. In this dream, I found myself on a city sidewalk. I believe this city represents many cities. About every 200 or 300 feet were large, shiny, metallic spheres, not quite as tall as a person. Some were on top of buildings. These metallic spheres were not there the previous day. I was given the knowledge that something extremely evil and destructive was inside these silver balls, waiting for the command to be released. People were milling about the streets, walking around the metallic balls, paying no attention whatsoever to them. People were going blindly about their business, too busy to be concerned with the new metallic spheres that now dotted the city throughout. I believe this is a warning to anyone who will listen. People don't really believe that we are living in the final days. Get out of the cities if you can. Some kind of destruction is coming. I just thought this was an interesting short video. The south-facing camera in Nick, Alaska, captured the sun looking like it had hair sticking up. Just another sign that we're living in the last days. The southwest-facing camera in Casagluck, Alaska, captured two large orbs, best viewed with some contrast added. The small white dot is the craft that tows equipment that prevents the celestial objects from becoming more illuminated from the light coming from the top left corner of the screen. I'll play this footage exactly as it came off the camera. Then we will view it with some contrast added in order to observe the rotation of this object as it crosses the sky. Remember, lens flares do not rotate, have craters, or go behind clouds. The vertical purple beams always shoot down directly from the center of NASA's manufactured light, which tracks in synchronization with the sun. In a couple minutes, we will see this light-producing equipment and its reflection upon the ocean. This planetary system will be making its closest pass to Earth during the biblically foretold 7-year period called the Great Tribulation, a time that is described in detail in the Bible's book of Revelation. In the Bible's book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 25, Jesus clearly tells us that we will see signs in the sky when the end is near. As Christians, we are commanded to watch for these signs and wonders signaling the end of the age, so that we are not ignorant of the very late hour in which we are living, and so that we can be spiritually prepared for what lies ahead and help others become spiritually prepared. The east-facing camera in Portage Creek, Alaska, captured NASA's circular glare reacting to a celestial orb. Notice the light reaching across this object. It is impossible for the sun to react to a lens flare. However, the light at the top of the screen is obviously reacting to this object. Additionally, clouds are in front of this object in a couple frames. These are just more signs that we are living in the very last days. The same thing was happening on the footage from the South Naknek camera. The southwest-facing camera in Yukon River Bridge, Alaska, captured an enormous celestial object, partially covered with clouds. We saw this same object a few weeks ago from the southeast-facing camera, where we could easily observe its rotation as it crossed the sky. Notice the clouds in front of this object in some of the frames. These are more signs that we are living in the very last days. The sun was only visible for 2 frames on the south-facing camera in Attawapiskat, Ontario in Canada. Notice how tiny the sun looks, and also notice how unusually dark it is for 2:50 in the afternoon, local time. Watch our July 19 video to find out where the real sun went. The south-facing camera in Gamble, Alaska, captured light streaking downward in the nighttime sky, most likely meteorites coming from the inbound planetary system. Watch the upper right corner in some of these images, because the streaking light actually illuminates a highly cratered celestial orb. It almost has a skull appearance. The southwest-facing camera in Point Lay, Alaska, captured a great nighttime view of the bell-shaped projector that we've seen thousands of times. Actually, this could be a reflection of the projector, I'm not sure. I believe someone mistakenly activated the projector for just this one frame because it is projecting a bright light downward onto dark landscape instead of into the sky. Here's that same projector creating a moon viewed from the Harris River Pass camera back in March of this year. Look closely and you can see the projector moving across the sky, crossing paths with what looks like the moon. Later in this video, we will see what the moon looks like without a projector to enlarge it. Notice how the bell-shaped projector always faces the object it is projecting. The projection is coming out of the large opening in the bell shape. Just in case your screen's contrast prevents good viewing, some arrows are marking the path of the projector. This projector is not usually visible in nighttime images. However, just once in a while you can catch it at nighttime on some of these FAA videos. In these close-ups, pay close attention to the crescent, which starts out on the left side of the moon. As we go through the images in this footage, the crescent completely disappears when the projector is lined up with the moon and the weather camera. Then the crescent actually moves to the right side of the moon as the projector makes its way to the left side of the screen, always pointing in the direction of the image of the moon. Untold trillions have been spent to hide this inbound planetary system from the unknowing masses. The enemies of Christ do not want you to know how close to the end we are. They do not want you to turn your life over to Christ while you still have time. Information is at the end of this video instructing you on how to accept Christ into your life. Here's a daytime video showing the bell-shaped projector in action. This is from December 2017, showing a complete solar eclipse and reflections of the equipment to help hide it. Thanks to your tax dollars. We've seen these solar eclipses hundreds and hundreds of times over the years. Notice the bell-shaped projector. NASA's circular glare passes in front of the eclipsing object with the real sun passing behind, so that an eclipse is not obvious. At the end of this footage, some contrast helps to see the object that just eclipsed the sun. As always, if we draw a line from the pink reflection of the craft to the black dot center of NASA's manufactured light, the eclipsing object always falls upon that line without exception. And in the very last frame, please notice that the black center of NASA's manufactured light does cast a reflection upon the water, proving that it's an actual piece of equipment and not a camera or lighting issue. And here's the reflection again at Tenakee Springs, Alaska. You'll recall that at the beginning of this video we viewed this same celestial object from footage obtained 2 days ago on September 3rd. The footage of the solar eclipse you just saw was December 2017. I pasted an image from 2 days ago onto the 2017 image in order to compare the size of this object, how it was back in December 2017, and what the size of it is now. By drawing a straight line through the center of each image of this object, we can see that it has not changed in over a year. In addition, Hundreds of cameras show this object daily whenever the atmospheric chemicals aren't heavy. Unfortunately, the toxic atmospheric chemical spraying throughout Canada and Alaska has been extremely heavy for many months. But the fact that this object does not change sizes over time proves that it is in a stable orbit around Earth. This is a screen print from VentureSky.com. This is what Alaska looks like every single day, every week, every month. Totally cloud covered. The white areas are cloud cover. Alaska is 100% cloud covered nearly every day, except for just a few spots that were missed by the jets that sprayed the atmospheric chemicals. I feel really sorry for those individuals in Alaska who must depend upon solar energy for their power needs. This is what the real moon looked like years ago without a projector. This is a screen print of an internet search when I searched for photos of the moon. Notice how large the moon looks. None of these photos require a label to let you know what you are looking at, because you know it's the moon. Remember this page as we go through the next several videos of what the moon looks like now without a projector. Can you see the moon in this nighttime image from the southwest facing camera in Vernon, British Columbia in Canada? An arrow points to the moon. I checked the moon charts for all of these, and the dates, times, and direction the cameras are aiming all match up with moon set time, as we see the tiny light descending for the night. We see a similar scenario from Vancouver. Same thing from the camera at the International Airport in British Columbia. Here's the moon viewed from Saturna Island. And this one is from Prince George in British Columbia. Here's Quesnel, British Columbia. These cameras are all near the western Pacific coastline of Canada, where not as much atmospheric spraying is done during the night time. Alaska stays heavily covered both day and night. Prince Rupert, British Columbia. This camera is in Merritt, British Columbia. Kelowna, British Columbia. Dease Lake, British Columbia. Dawson Creek, British Columbia. Tsay Key, British Columbia. Mackenzie, British Columbia. God's wrath upon this earth will be occurring during the Great Tribulation. But all of this is actually good news and cause for celebration, because Jesus has promised to remove his faithful followers from earth before God's wrath is unleashed upon the earth. This is commonly called the rapture, which will take place quickly and quietly. The New King James Version of Luke chapter 21 verse 36 reads, "Watch therefore and pray always, that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things that will come to pass." Jesus is referring to God's wrath. He is saying that those who are counted worthy will escape all of God's wrath, which will occur during the 7-year period called the Great Tribulation. The Bible repeatedly promises that faithful followers of Christ are not appointed to God's wrath. To be counted worthy, we must be living in holiness. A link in the description box below discusses what holiness is and how to achieve it. The reason that your eternal soul has been sent into this fallen world is so that you can choose to love Christ out of your own free will and live according to that love. This is the only reason we are here in these temporary flesh bodies. These next few screens will tell you how to accept Christ into your life. Simply pause the screens if you need more time to read the text.